Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. I know it's been a minute. Oh my, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I feel like I've been saying this for so long in my own personal life, but I feel like I keep getting ripped to shreds. And then I put myself back together. And I'm like, cool, this feels good. This makes sense. These pieces fit. And then not long after that, I feel like I'm ripped to shreds again. More so, obviously, energetically. And I think in big part that is because number one, maybe not even in any type of particular order, but like a culmination of all of these things. Jupiter is in my 12th house. And the last time Jupiter was in my 12th house is actually when I started my actual, real, and really a better word for that is intentional healing. I met a mentor at the time that really helped me unpack a lot of my subconscious shit. Literally, I think I cried for the first at least 3 weeks when we first started working together, before I was able to kind of start making practical, steps forward. So that was back in 2012. And literally, because I asked this person the dates of all of these things, and granted, they're not exact, but they're pretty close. Because this person has a defined head and ajna, on the human design side of things, and is just they remember everything. I'm pretty sure they've said they remember their own birth. I have an undefined head and ajna, so it's just shit is just swirling around in there. I remember the most random stuff, but not my own birth. So anyway, if you've made it this far, I will. A part of me is I might make this its own separate video, but the other part of me is it's probably going to end up being the intro, and I'll just put a time stamp in the description for when the actual reading starts if you don't want to sit here and listen to me ramble, because my defined throat, I have to ramble for a second. So bear with me. So anyway, back to my little ramble. How do you like my new setup? We'll see if this spot becomes permanent. It's at least temporary. We'll see how it goes, but I love it. I love the little plant vibe going on. So anyway, Gemini, Jupiter, that's my 12th house. And there is, it's this, first of all, it's a deeper understanding even of myself over the last 12 years, right? Just the work that I've put into myself, to understanding how I even became the person that I have become. And are there things that maybe I want to change that are just no longer fitting into my life, or I'm finally realizing aren't fitting into my life, which is the next thing. So Pluto, OMFG. Pluto has been squaring my natal Saturn since it went back into Capricorn, I have a 29-degree Saturn. And, Pluto has been at 29 degrees for the last, I don't know, however long. And not to mention, even before, right? Because it went into Aquarius for a sec, and then it retrograded back out. So Pluto has been squaring my natal Saturn for, I honestly have no effing clue how long. Not to mention, I have a 27-degree Pluto that's conjunct my Saturn at 29 degrees. So at some point in the last couple years, Pluto was squaring my natal Pluto. So, so yeah, that is also a bit uncomfy and has been a bit uncomfy. And I do feel like I'm finally starting to realize that, again, just the things that I was doing, how I was operating in my life, how I was operating in my relationships, how I was even approaching work and my idea of work and my whatever. I feel like I'm starting to finally get the clue on all of that. And quite frankly, I am excited for Pluto to just be away from from my Saturn, from my Pluto. I don't know, I'm not so educated in astrology to know, when that relief will start to come. Like, how far does Pluto have to be in Aquarius in order for me to feel a little bit of relief from that? Not to mention, too, Neptune was squaring my natal Neptune for the last, again, I don't know how long. I have a 28-degree Neptune. So there was that going on. Saturn has been tap dancing on my MC degree. Like, I think it made it to the exact degree that my MC is, and then it went retrograde. So it got there, and then it was like, oh, nope. I just heard that Aaliyah song, back, forth and forth. Because that's how, it seems like there's just, obviously, right? A lot of that going on with retrogrades and all of this stuff. So Saturn made it to my MC, which is in my 9th house. And then it went backwards. And then at some point it's going to go forward again and go over that bitch one more time before it leaves the sign entirely. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in my 10th house. But I don't have any placements there, so it might be okay. But, and it's loosely opposing my moon right now. So, oh, and Uranus is almost right on top of my Chiron. I have a 27-degree Taurus Chiron and a 28-degree Taurus Sun. So, that's coming up at some point. All of that is to say that, I have not been consistent here in this space. And that has caused me a lot of anxiety because I really do enjoy showing up here. I really enjoy the expansion that this space, that, tarot readings, that, connecting with you guys offers. And I cannot guarantee that it would be more consistent going forward, but I want to, it is on my list of things to prioritize. The first thing being myself, because I really have not done that. I tend to sacrifice my own well-being, and that has been something that has, it's been at the forefront. So if you are still here, I am so glad And I want you to know that I do think of you often. What is so funny is that, okay, I didn't even put that together. This looks like a little succulent here in the middle, and then just these flowers around the border. That's so funny. I actually, just to kind of wrap this up, because now I don't even know what I was talking about before I realized that, but I was actually I was grabbing my microphone actually, and then I look over to where like I have all of my tarot decks crammed into this one shelf, and I was like, oh, I haven't used the Muse Tarot in a while, a long time actually. So I was like, do you want to do the reading? Because I always ask my decks before I even do the reading if they want to do the reading. I actually asked this deck if it wanted to be a clarifying deck. This is the Tarot of the Abyss. And this is the card that came out, the Five of Cups. So that's a no. That is a no from Tarot of the Abyss. I think I already shuffled, well, the Star card came out. The Three of Pentacles working together, the Fool. I love that. So yes, this deck was definitely a yes, but I love the coordination. That is so funny to me. So it's been 15 minutes already. If you listen to this whole thing, thank you so much for allowing me the space to share. And if you know your own astrology, if you've, if there's some crazy shit going on with you too, I would love to hear it if you feel like sharing, because I think it really does just help, to share those things, and even to just allowing other people to see you and honor you in your experience. So with that being said, let's get into the readings. Great. So this is a reading for Leo, wherever Leo shows up in your chart. I don't know what, like, I just get this feeling that I'm like so ready to do your reading, which is just kind of like a funny feeling to have. Like, I mean, of course I'm ready, but I don't know. So, just seriously, like when I sat down here and started getting prepared, started shuffling the cards, I was like, oh, I'm ready for this. So what that tells me, I wonder if you are also, like, if there's something that you are excited about right now, or something that maybe even like you're pumping yourself up for, like, oh, I'm so ready for this, whatever it is. Or it could just be a message that you are, in fact, ready for something. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards a bunch of times, and I changed the spread that I'm using a little bit. We'll see how it goes, but it's a 3-card spread with 3 clarifier cards. We'll see. Okay, for Leo. There we go. Okay, current energy for Leo. We have the 6 of Wands. Love that. What's leaving? The Ace of Inspiration, or the Ace of Wands. What's coming in is the 9 of Pentacles. Absolutely. So let's get clarifiers for these. We have the 3 of Voices, or the 3 of Swords, with the 6 of Inspiration. Bro, we have the 8 of Swords with the Ace of Inspiration, and then we have the Tower card with the 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, it's definitely this like give and take. I mean, look at just the difference in the vibe of each of these cards. The cards that came out and the clarifying cards. It almost kind of like feels like the first cards that came out are like the external, maybe even how you're presenting, and then the clarifiers are like how you feel on the inside, or at least just under the surface. So we start with the 6 of Wands for the current energy, paired with the 3 of Swords. So They're such like opposite-ish kind of energies, I guess, too. So we'll see where it goes. I do try my best just to share whatever is being dropped, down into me. So the Six of Wands is about recognition, success, victory after hardship. I mean, it's like getting your flowers, right? The amount of times that I've seen this card, and I've never noticed these people on the bottom down here ever. I don't know what I thought that they were. I never even realized they were down there though. Do you see them? It almost, honestly, it feels like a barrier. At first I was kind of thinking, as I was looking at the card, and actually what drew my eye to them anyway, is that I was like, it almost kind of looks like a white picket fence, right? Because that would be, like your level of success, or again, like reaching a point of like satisfaction. Wands are about the actions that we take and the motivation behind the actions that we take. I also see wands as being information by way of experience. So, we try things. What works? What doesn't work? What do we like? What don't we like? We have all these life lessons, right? These situations that come up, making and breaking bonds, all of that. That to me encompasses wands. You have to try things in order to see if you like them, if they work, make tweaks along the way, right? So when you get to the Six of Wands, the actions that you have taken, the trials and tribulations that you've been through have led you to a point of success. But again, when I was looking at these two pairs of three, I mean, it's like the same person, just copied and pasted, right? I mean, it's starting to feel like a barrier, or like kind of being kept in a box or corralled is kind of how that feels too. And especially with it being paired with the Three of Swords, because the Three of Swords is heartbreak, betrayal, rejection, disappointment. But swords have to do with our mind. So it's how those experiences, how those feelings, like what stories are we attaching to them in our heads? What beliefs are we incorporating or developing around this type of experience? Even, with these eyes in the sky and this person hiding behind this door, I mean, it literally feels like, again, it really does feel like this is the energy that you want to be in, but you can't for some reason because there's some sort of restriction happening here. Whether, that is like yourself, keeping yourself, like doling yourself down, or if that's other people around you. Like, when you're really excited about something and maybe you're talking really fast, or maybe you're talking like louder than usual, and somebody's like, oh my God, you're talking so fast, like slow down, I can't understand you. Or why are you being so loud right now? Or, and it just totally shuts you down and you're just like, fuck it, I'll never talk again. I'll never be excited again, right? Like that's how this feels. And I get that. I so get that. But we got to figure out a way to not get stuck in that. You're not meant to be in this energy. You are meant to be in the Six of Inspiration. You're meant to be seen. You're meant to shine, right? Like you're ruled by the sun. You're meant to shine. Even if, even like the whole day and night thing, it doesn't have to be all of the time. And what's leaving is the Ace of Wands with the Eight of Swords. It's like waiting for inspiration to find you. That's what's leaving. Because aces are new, right? It's like that spark of something new, of a desire, of, passion, sexual energy too, with the Ace of Wands. Both of these figures have their eyes closed too. So again, right, like with the Ace of Wands, it's like something that excites you. Even drawing that out of yourself, you know, that energy coming from within. And the Eight of Swords is, I see the Eight of Swords as being like a self-inflicted mind prison. These are two heavy swords cards to get, right? So there's a lot of heavy mind stuff going on here. And it's like the heavy mind stuff is like preventing the shine. Which is also too, like maybe at the beginning, especially, I mean, I know we haven't gotten to the last section here, but the feeling of like being ready, because it does feel like you are ready to break out of this, but it's like, you know, if there's fear of being rejected, or again, if you have developed a belief around, you know, allowing yourself to be authentic, but maybe the people around you didn't respond well to it. Well, honestly, like, they're haters. Let them be miserable. Find different people, right? Which I know is like easier said than done, but like truly, it really makes no sense for us to stay in spaces and be surrounded by people that make us feel like absolute shit. So either find other people who don't make you feel like shit, or really develop a relationship with yourself to where you're okay not spending so much time around those people, right? And I mean, this is all very individual too. There's one person on this card. So this is you like developing your sense of self. Anyway, we were talking about the Eight of Swords. So self-inflicted mind prison. Because traditionally in the Eight of Swords, they're usually loosely bound. They're blindfolded. They're usually, you know, surrounded by 8 swords. However, you know, like, so at first glance, it looks like they're in a real pickle, right? But if you look closer, you'll actually notice that the binding isn't even tied. And if anything, it's super fucking loose. So if they wanted to, or I should say when they want to, they could just wiggle their arms a little bit and get their hands loose and then take off the blindfold and then literally physically move their body and even, of course, their mindset, because it is swords, it is our mind. Move your mindset onto something different. However, I feel like, so in tarot, there's no negative card, right? This is where, you know, the Three of Swords is where we start developing those beliefs about ourselves that it's self-sabotage, you know, it's imposter syndrome, it's right, all of those things that keep us small and prevent us from being authentic. The Eight of Swords is when those gremlins start really getting loud. But there's a lot of information to be found in the Eight of Swords, because it's like, okay, what are those stories? Why do I feel stuck? Why am I thinking, like, why do I have this mindset? Why am I thinking in this perspective? What is my actual reality, right? Like, and how did I come to be? I know that's like really deep. I know a lot of people don't necessarily think in those terms, but I'm just saying, like, with the Eight of Swords, it is very, like, there's a lot to be learned in the Eight of Swords. Because really, too, like, if you know where or how those beliefs, those stories, your ego, right, your personality, your temperament, if you understand how all of those things came to be, then you get to decide, is that story true or not? 9 times out of 10, it's not true. I can tell you, because I've done it myself. I've sat with the Eight of Swords in my own life, my own stories, journaling, because that's, you know, my moon is in my 3rd house. So, and I'm a Cancer rising. So it helps me to journal. But so, you know, journal prompt, what is the story, right? Write out whatever the story is that's going on in your head, right? You see it in front of you. Next question, is that story true? Yes or no? If yes, why is it true? And where did it come from? Is that a story that I developed about myself? Or is that a story that I imprinted from somebody else, right? Going back to just my example of like, I was too excited once. I showed excitement and I was happy once and somebody shot me down. Am I too much? Am I too excitable? You know what I mean? Right? Like, so it's like literally going through all those things, because also too, the whole point of that is to heal those things. I call them whole cruxes because I'm a Harry Potter freak. And I do think that there's all these different times and places where our energy just gets zapped because we had an experience with our parents, with our siblings, with our friends, with a mentor, with a teacher, with, a stranger, whoever. And it really is like finding those whole cruxes like they did in Harry Potter and killing them. And by killing them, I mean healing them, right? Like, okay, what is your story? What is the whole crux story? Let's just use this chunk of labradorite as a whole crux, right? And this is not hypothetical, no. I was going to say metaphysical, like what? Metaphorically, right? Because I mean, like we would be searching for these things like within ourselves, right? Literally within our psyche, but also, like the energy, we hold it in our body too. So let's say, this is one of the stories in the Eight of Swords. This is one of the whole cruxes. So we ask it, right? Like, what is your story? Whatever it is that story true or not? Like, is that something that I actually believe to be true of myself or not? Yes or no? If yes, why? And where did the story come from? If no, why? And where did the story come from? And then, what is it that you need in order to be healed and released? Is it to accept that you do get excited about things, that you are a loud talker when you're excited, that you are a fast talker, or whatever? Those are just the examples that I'm using. It could literally be anything. And then it's like you reclaim that energy. You cleanse it. You metaphorically give it a big ass hug, a ton of grace, a ton of compassion, because it's all for yourself, right? Like your inner child. And then it's like you reclaim that energy. You put it back into yourself. What an interesting ride that was. Sorry, I hope that made sense. Because then we move on. What's coming in? The Nine of Pentacles with the Tower card. This is Mars, the Tower card. Mars is actually in Cancer right now, like wherever Cancer is for you, but it's actually moving into Leo soonish, I think. And then it's going to retrograde back into Cancer for however, like this whole dance is like the next 7 months or something like that. So Mars is going to go into Cancer, Mars is going to go into Leo. Then it's going to retrograde back into Cancer. And then it'll go direct and it'll go through Leo again. So there's a lot of like oomph energy, like to back you up here. The Nine of Pentacles is independence. It's financial freedom, good health. Nines are individual completion as well. I mean, I love a progression from an 8 to a 9, even though they're different suits. I still think it counts because it happened in the same reading, especially anyway, that we're going from the Eight of Swords being all up in our heads in a funky way to the Nine of Pentacles, which, I mean, even just look at their body language. This is, allowing yourself to be free. This is expressing yourself authentically. Even like I said with the Six of Wands, this is literally now receiving your flowers. And what it also changes for you, like when you do start operating from this place, opportunities come to you. You attract them. It's almost like they need you, right? Because truly, like I said, right, Leo is ruled by the sun. We cannot live without the sun. We need Leo energy. And I mean, the sun is about to go into, and it might have already actually gone into Scorpio, wherever like Scorpio is for you. Where would that be for you? Would that be your fourth house? If you're Leo rising, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. Yeah. Your private life, your roots, what makes you who you are. Mother wound also. Scorpio too. I mean, it rules the underworld. This is going really deep within yourself. So the potential is there. Like, it's like if you put in the work. And also too, okay, so nine of Pentacles, literally receiving your flowers, expressing yourself, authentically, being open. This is literally receiving, right? With the Tower card, to like this, it's like you breaking out of something. It could also be, so this is another cool thing that happens when we start just expressing ourselves more authentically. The things that are no longer in alignment with us, or the things that no longer serve us, whether that is a friendship, a relationship, a peer group, a job, whatever, even a behavior pattern, a thought pattern, that tends to just fall away. And it can literally be that easy with the Tower card. Like, the Tower card is only really going to be uncomfortable if we're resisting, if we're fighting against the things that are trying to, like, that the universe or whoever, God, if you believe in a higher power, or just, like energetically, it's like, it's trying to disengage. There's this, one figure down here that's like literally taking a leap. And if we're trying to hold on to that, then yes, the Tower can be uncomfortable. If we recognize that, again, if people are leaving, if we're not hearing from those friends, if we're not engaging with our family as much, or whatever, even just quiet quitting work, or starting to look for a new job, even with the Nine of Pentacles here, there would be an opportunity for you to get a raise, to get a job that is more in alignment with you. But again, just to reiterate, it's like by being yourself truly, allowing your light to shine as bright as you feel like letting it shine that day. What isn't for you won't even come close to you. It'll just naturally fall off. And what is for you will have the space to come in. I love this. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Leo, so much for letting me read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.